Guys, it's me, it's Queen Aset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit that red subscribe button and smack the bell. All right, guys, if you have to ask someone, you might as well ask an Aquarius. Might as well, because we probably have an answer. So I have a question today from an Aquarius. Now, this question is very, very important because Aquarius often deal with this. So if you're an Aquarius, or if you love an Aquarius, or if you have an Aquarius child, listen up, because this is a big issue for us and it's something that we often need support with, okay? So I'm going to read the letter. It says here, do you have any advice for an Aquarius who's had commitment issues with all their jobs and can't seem to find one that they're not miserable at? Also, how to not allow your job to take a toll on you outside of work. Let me tell you something. I have had probably so many different kinds of jobs. I have been security. I have worked as a waitress. I have been a barmaid. I have been a teacher for many, many, many years. I have worked at the YMCA. I've done, oh my God, what else have I've done? Construction. I worked at a pizza shop. I have done probably any job that I could get my hands on. And I always believe in making an honest dollar. I am somebody who believes in getting off my ass and making my money. You know, even now to this day, I have a good job now. I have a comfortable job. I work from home, obviously. You know, I do my classes in the morning and I do readings sometimes, most of the time. And this has been the best part. This has been the best, working for myself, doing my own thing has been the best. And I must say that as an Aquarius, this is a very common issue because honestly, Aquarius do better working for themselves, like an entrepreneur, or a job where you have very little supervision. Those are the jobs I kept the longest. It's very common for an Aquarius to have problems with jobs because, number one, Aquarius have a hard time doing things they don't want to do. We have a hard time with authority, especially authority that's an idiot. Ain't nothing worse than being an Aquarius and having a supervisor or somebody over you who is just incompetent. That's the worst thing for a poor Aquarius. So a lot of us have issues with our jobs, and a lot of us find ourselves miserable eventually. For me, I would just get a new job. Every time I got miserable, I just moved on to another job until I started working for myself. So my thing is that if you're having this problem, 9 times out of 10, you need to do one of those two things. You need to work for yourself, become an entrepreneur, open your own business, whatever, hair salon, whatever, or you need to just keep changing jobs until you find one that you feel is a fit. For me, I never found a really great fit. I just found ones that I didn't despise as much as the other. I've done, like I said, all kinds of jobs. But for the Aquarius, the independent, working for yourself or doing something that you have a lot of like freedom. Like, for example, if you're a paramedic, you out in the car all the time, pretty much by yourself. If you're a scientist, you're in a laboratory by yourself or with your assistant. Those kind of jobs where you're not around that many people or it's just you most of the time are best for Aquarius because we're loners in that way anyway, and usually depending upon how the person is or the people are, because I know for me, I was always in jobs and a lot of them had large staff. And, people are neurotic. I'm just going to keep it real. Some people are very neurotic and I got tired of dealing with them and they whining and they emails and So being by myself, doing my thing, even when I teach my English classes, I have one supervisor. It's just me and her, and I handle my clients and that's it. So I like that. I like that, just that one-on-one. And for Aquarius, that's really good for us. If I were you, this is what I would do. I would try to find what is my life mission, what is my purpose. Because all of us come here with a purpose, and a lot of times it's tied to our career. So 9 times out of 10, if you're not finding a job, and every time you do find a job, you find yourself eventually miserable, that means that you're not living out your life purpose. So figure out what your purpose is. Figure out what you came to do. Figure out what it is that brings you joy, that you could do it for a living. When I first started doing readings, people would always say to me, what do you want to do eventually? And I was like, well, I just want to do readings all day. I just want to talk to people and do readings and, be a witch, be a priestess all day. And people would laugh and say, ha ha ha, nice dream. And now that's what I do, So you might have something similar. You might have some kind of dream. You might have some kind of mission. You might have some kind of purpose. If you can find that and monetize that, that's really your best bet, because it's something you're going to be passionate about. You're going to do your best at that, and it's going to be something you're going to be interested in. I'm interested in readings. I'm interested in cards. I'm interested in interpretations. I have a tarot collection of hundreds of cards. This is what I do. Even if it wasn't my job, it would still be my hobby and what I do, my passion. So if you can make your passion into your career, that's your best bet. Other than that, like I said before, the only other option you have is hopping from job to job, staying someplace until you can't take it, and then finding another job and bounce someplace else. That's the only real option you have. And that option to me is temporary at best, because, you could live a whole lifetime doing that. And I really wasn't happy. I just went from one level of unhappiness to another one. So I would really recommend more the former than the latter. But you got to do what you got to do, you see? Whatever's going to keep your paper flowing. And the last part, you said, how do you stop it from taking a toll on you outside of work? I dealt with this a lot too. So outside of work, one of the things I did when I was I was miserable a couple times, but one time when I was at my most miserable was my last year with the school district. My last year with the school district, I went to this place and I was just so unhappy. And I would just sit in the parking lot and cry because I didn't want to go to work. I was just so unhappy. I couldn't stand my higher ups. It was just an awful place. I didn't like the parents. A lot of the parents were very snobby and uppity. I just didn't like this place. And the kids were okay. I did like working with the students, many of the students, not all of them, because some of them had their parents' attitude, but most of the students were really cool. And I've always come to find, and my jobs is usually not my clients that are the problem, it's the other people I work with. It was never like, even with the school district, it wasn't the students who were the biggest issue. The people would be like, oh, kids are bad, and I'm like, well, something, really, I'd rather deal with the students. When you cut me loose with the kids, me and the kids made it happen. We did what we had to do. I had great relationships with my students, but it was the other teachers and the some of the adults, that kind of thing, that will just ruin everything. So I got to a point where I didn't want to go to work. I was crying in my car, and what I had to do was I had to really get my head right. I had to start doing, that's when I really started doing meditations really heavily. I started doing daily meditations, and I started listening to this Buddhist monk. His name is Ajahn Brahm, and I'm going to put one of his YouTube videos underneath this video so you guys can check him out. Every day on the way to work, I listened to Ajahn Brahm and got myself in the right headspace. And then after work, after I had got my ass kicked all day, I got in the car and turned Ajahn Brahm on again and listened to him all the way home from work. I made sure that I did my daily meditations. I was very heavy in my spiritual, emotional work. And that's what you have to do. When you're at a job and you're miserable and you hate it, you have to be really thick on your spiritual and emotional work. That's what's going to make you be able to get up every day and walk in there, and get your paycheck. That's what I did. So that's something that helped me, and that was at one of my most miserable times. Having a drink after work or something like that. That kind of helped to relax me, because I used to really love red wine. I haven't even seen red wine here. I think they do have it though. but I have some red wine after work, and that was okay. That helped me unwind, but that didn't help anywhere near as much as listening to Ajahn Brahm and doing those meditations, because it kept me calm. And Ajahn Brahm is talking about compassion and mercy and, those kind of things. So it kept me calm and it kept me even. And even when the day was hard, I went right back and I really worked on keeping my vibration at that space. So as an Aquarius, that is your best bet, because some people tell you drink wine or smoke or do this or do that. But honestly, them things only lead to addictions. That's only going to lead you to being an alcoholic. You would be a lot better off listening to a Buddhist monk and playing some soothing chakra music. So I'm going to put underneath here some of the things that I've used, some of the techniques that I've used in a productive manner that may be helpful to you, and you check them out. But as an Aquarius, this is very common. I bet you after we finish talking, if you look in the comments section, I bet you a lot of Aquarius have dealt with employment issues. My father just straight up just didn't work. He worked like sometimes. He was sporadic, he worked sometimes. He would work like a couple years and then not work at all, then work a couple months and then not work at all. So he was, Aquarius February 2nd. So a lot of Aquarius have this problem, either unemployed or frequently changing jobs or just being miserable at their jobs. This is a big Aquarius issue. So I think, like I said before, it's because we are supposed to live our passion. So figure out, what is your passion. You might have more than one thing you're good at, but what is your passion? I'm good at a lot of things, but I'm not passionate about anything the way I'm passionate about doing readings. I'm good at writing, I'm good at reading, I'm good at art, I'm good at, all kinds of different things like that. I'm good at teaching classes of history, but I'm not good like I'm fantastic at doing readings. That's my thing. So what is your thing? What is your passion? And can your passion be monetized? That's your question for today. Okay? All right, guys. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to another Aquarius who's wondering why this keeps happening to them. It's normal. It just is what it is. It's one of the things that Aquarius deals with. Likewise, if you would like to get a reading done, please email me for an appointment. If you would like to get me to answer a general question for Ask an Aquarius, email it to me or drop it underneath this video. Likewise, if you want to send me a gift, I'll leave my Amazon wish list. And if you would like to send me a love donation, I will leave my PayPal information. Likewise, please come back tomorrow because, as always, I have a lot more to say. See you later.